Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for the Real Producers Podcast. We're live in Colleyville, Texas at studioUSA. And today we are interviewing Eric. So Eric Wilkinson, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Wait to dive into our conversation. I had the pleasure of meeting you in the past.
Yep.
And interviewing you and featuring you in the Real Producers magazine.
Yeah, it's fun.
It was fun, but you are an amazing person.
Well, thank you. I don't know where we're going with that, but thank you.
You're an amazing individual, and I really liked interviewing you, and I really enjoyed being able to say, hey, guess what? I want to feature you in the publication and share a little bit about your story. And of course, you got to take all the pictures and do all the fun things. Did you feel like that was a red carpet experience?
It was
I hope so.
Awesome. I did. Yeah, it was really fun for sure.
We love loving on y'all.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect at all, so it was really cool to experience that.
And it was all free.
Mm-hmm. It was.
It was all free.
Yep.
Unless you bought pictures or something.
I bought pictures, but I use them all the time, so
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah.
I would too, because those photographers are so good.
It was great to be at a cool location to do all that. It was awesome.
Yeah. So you have an incredible background about your journey into real estate.
Yeah.
I love asking this question whenever I interview people for the first time. I'm like, how in the world did you get into real estate? Because it's such a small percentage of people that decide way early on, hey, I'm going to be in real estate. I want to be a real estate agent right out of college or during their college years or whatever. That's not the norm.
Yep.
Most of the time what I find is people journey their way into real estate. They probably started off in another career. Hey, that's not for me. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be a teacher, whatever. And then sometimes people have full-on careers. And then they want to do a second career shift, or they're momming it for a while, staying at home with the kids, and then they decide to have a career.
I was not momming it.
No, you weren't.
For the record.
I can promise you that. But I just want you to share just a snippet about what you were doing, because the reason why is because it's tying into what you're doing now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love how you are using the gifts and the talents and the things that you had in the past for today, and how you're able to incorporate those things into your real estate career. So I would love it if you would just share with our audience. One of the other things that is so wonderful about this is it inspires listeners who are out there hearing your journey, your story, and they can see themselves in your story, and it feels relatable. And it also helps them see, hey, if he can do it, so can I. And if I feel stuck in my career, or I'm brand new and just growing my career, here are some things that I can do. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for being here and sharing this. So talk to the audience a little bit about where were you before you ever got into real estate? What were you doing?
Yeah. So I'm going to go back even one more step, because for me, I don't ever want to waste any piece of my past, And so definitely real estate was never in the cards for me, because I never lived in a house growing up. I always lived in apartments. I grew up in what I will say is the ghetto of Dallas, and I did not live anywhere bigger than a 1-bedroom apartment growing up, and with siblings and everything else. And so I never, the whole idea of being a real estate agent was completely foreign to me, because I didn't know how any of that worked, because it wasn't until I was 21 when I did buy my own house and was able to learn how to work a lawnmower and all the things that I even knew what buying a house was like, what the process was, or anything.
How could you buy a house at 21?
Well, back then,
what am I not teaching my children?
At the top of my budget was $102,000 house on an FHA mortgage, with I don't know, our interest rate was like 4 something at the time. I mean, it just, different times when I was 21. But no, so fast forward a little bit, I was in ministry, actually. So I was a worship pastor. I was a creative director. I was different roles at a church. And that's what I thought I was going to do with my life forever and ever, was just work at a church. And that, I mean, from growing up, that's what I did in student ministry. And I actually came to the area I'm in now to actually start a church. And we started from the ground level. And when I say ground level, I mean in a garage. And doing that, though, part of the roles that fell on me were reaching people to tell them about this church that we had in a garage. And so that was part of my journey, was learning all of these things. You get thrown into, when you have a small church staff, you get thrown into doing all the things, whether you know how to do it or
all
not.
the hats.
Right. And so I learned how to do everything from making videos to the logo stuff, graphics, websites, social media. I mean, I just was learning it from a church perspective. But it was really fun because I could see the results of it. I could see we would put this thing out, make this video that I had no idea what I was doing, make this video, put it on social media, and then all of a sudden people would show up to the thing. And I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool. I mean, obviously there's the God perspective of like, well, God did that. But then there's the other perspective of like, well, I was using the talents that God was giving me. I guess we'll call those talents. I look back at some of the old videos. I'm like, what was that? But being able to look at those and see the results of like, wow, we put this out, people showed up, and we kept doing it. And then, now that church has got, I don't even know how, 6,000 people and 5 locations. And it's really, I'm still a part of it.
You were planting a lot of seeds.
Yes, it was a lot for sure.
Yeah.
But learning how to do all these marketing things. And so I went from there to, I don't know how much you want me to get into that, but I started a marketing company out of thin air and really out of a necessity in life that happened. And so I started this marketing agency starting with social media and things like that. And so social media, marketing, that's what I was doing before getting into real estate.
Mm-hmm. I love that. By the way, you said you were a worship pastor. Mm-hmm. Does this mean you can sing?
It means I was the best option for singing when we started.
The best option for singing.
I play guitar now. That's what I do at the church now. I still am involved, and my wife's actually on staff. And but yes, I'm still involved in music.
I love that. So you sing really well in the shower, but maybe not on stage. Is
Lots
that
of
what
reverb. No one can hear me. Yeah, it's great.
I think people would crawl in a corner if they heard me sing. I mean, I want to sing too. And I was telling my husband the other day, I said, because I just get chills from head to toe and my hair all stands up, the whole thing when I'm standing in church during worship music, especially at my church. Right. So anointed. The worship music is so anointed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so I was saying to him, I wish I could stand up there with a microphone and sing. And he said, you're supposed to have a microphone as a speaker, not a singer. Somebody else is called the singer to be a singer. And I said, but I want both.
Yep. We always want to do something else too.
Can we just talk about that, God?
For sure.
So you take this marketing and the social media experience and tell me about the moment that you decided to pivot into real estate and how that decision happened.
Yeah, for sure. So, started this marketing company, again, out of necessity. The necessity was I had 3 kids in 3 years, and that was
pretty tough.
That was tough. 3 kids in diapers, 3 kids in car seats, 3 kids. I mean, it just became overwhelming. And so, and I was just working at a church, so I needed a little bit more income than what the church was providing at the time. And so, total God story, just out of thin air, was asking God, like, hey, what do I do to take my next step in making more money? Like, I was spending weekends trying to dig through my garage and find stuff to sell on Facebook Marketplace. Like, that's what I was doing to try and afford diapers, And one day he literally out of thin air gave me this idea to call a friend of mine and just ask him, hey, do you need any help with your social media? I do some of this for the church, and I feel like I know a little bit about it. And so, and this guy he had the longest running fishing show on TV. That was my very first client. He goes to church with me, and his name's Barry Stokes, and he has this, it's called Let's Fish now. It was called Fox Sports Outdoors, but he called us, or I called him and just said, do you need any help with your social media? And I mean, just like that, he was like, absolutely I do, actually, because I have no idea what I'm doing, and I know I need to be in that space. Right now I'm on TV, but I need to be doing that. And so he was my first client, and we grew his brand to, I don't remember, 200,000 followers or something like that in a few years, and really helped him to allow him to sell his company later on, which he sold it a few years later. But anyway, so that was kind of just a springboard to having more clients and being able to ask other people, do you need help with your social media? Do you need help? And this was, back in 2016. And so I guess, 9 years ago? And so social media wasn't what it is today. It had been around for a while, but it still wasn't, businesses weren't using it to the same way they're using it now. And so we were kind of coming in what I felt was early at that moment. And I completely lost my train of thought of what your question was. Where are we going here?
Yes, the social media. How did that benefit you? And you finally made that pivot into real estate. So the question was, what was the defining moment where you decided, hey, I'm going to get into real estate?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're growing that brand. We're growing the whole marketing agency. COVID hits in 2020, late 2019, early 2020. And at that moment, I had around 20 employees at that time. It grew pretty quickly.
Crazy.
It was crazy. And then COVID hits, and it just, if all the businesses, they were like, how can we cut expenses? Oh, we'll cut marketing. It's always what everybody cut, because they were like, we can't market people to come to our store if we're closed anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we're going to cut that. So we lost a lot of clients in that moment that just couldn't afford it to do it. And so when we did that, it was very difficult. So not only that, I had to let go of more than half my staff, which was awful. And then at the same time, I was going through a really, really, really hard divorce. And so all of that just it was just like a crumbling life moment for me. You got COVID is one thing. It was a whole issue in and of itself. And I'm going through this divorce, and it's just affecting everything around me. I'm going from this, what I knew was a comfortable life at one time, to now I had a little Airbnb that I was living in, 500 square feet Airbnb. It was just terrible. And so fast forward a little bit, we get past COVID. I'm trying to pick my life back up here, and I'm looking up and I'm seeing, I meet my wife. Her name's Autumn. She's incredible. She has 2 kids, so now I got 5 kids. And I'm like, okay, we got 5 kids going here.
This requires a double cape for Superman.
Absolutely, it's a whole thing, and they're also all under 12. So it's a bunch of little guys. Like they're between 7 and 12. I have 1 daughter, 4 boys,
Bless the daughter.
Bless the daughter, but she can hold her own for sure.
This is why.
Absolutely.
She's surrounded by boys.
Absolutely. And so, going through all that, and then I get married. Autumn's incredible and so encouraging to everything that, like, hey, you should go for this. You should go for this. Well, she sees that I'm working with a lot of builders and a lot of developers, and from a marketing company. So our marketing company, we would work with builders to, build their websites, their logos, run their social media, make videos for them, just everything outside of the actual sales of what they did. Well, then I looked up and started realizing how much money real estate agents make from the transaction. And I'm like, okay, a real estate agent jumped in for a 30-day period and made X. We run their marketing for a year and make X, and how does that work? How are they making, more money than I am in a whole year of what we do and one transaction that they do? I'm like, this is wild. And so it really just was something that clicked in me. And I brought it up to Autumn one day. I was just like, I think I should get my real estate license. just kind of out of nowhere. But it was also out of a need, because I had a lot of expenses with the kids and divorce and all the things that happened. And so it was, again, another necessity moment of like, I got to change something. I got to do something here to make this work. And so got my license, and here we are.
Wow. What year was that?
That was 3 years ago, so 2022. Yep. It's been a wild 3 years.
So when we featured you, we featured you as a rising star because you'd been in the business less than 5 years. But is it okay if I mention a number without a specific number?
Sure.
Okay. So yes. So when I sit in front of you, I don't ever know anything about anybody, obviously, when I'm sitting in front of people and I'm interviewing them. And so I'm interviewing you, and I could just imagine my eyes being like the size of 50-cent pieces when I realized the amount of volume that you were doing and had done, and only been in the business 3 years, which your volume at that time was north of 20 million.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say about that without specifics. But I was like, and you've only been in the business 3 years. How in the world, are you doing that? So the beautiful thing is, I'm just assuming here you've made these strategic partnerships through marketing with these builders and these other clients that were maybe some of them in the real estate industry, not all of them, and you get your license. What percentage of those clients that you had when you were handling their social media campaigns are partners that you work with now on the real estate side?
Most of them, if not all of them, plus a bunch of new ones now that they see what we're doing, for sure.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you don't have to to look in the cushion, the cushions anymore.
That's
for
right.
the
The garage,
coins.
the cushions. Yep. No, and that whole, the way we do it, and I don't have any secrets here. To me, is we partner I still have the marketing agency. So that's one fact of this. But my marketing agency is literally called the same thing as my real estate company. So we partner those two together. And so I have Vibe Realty and Vibe Marketing and Media. And we partner those two together to work with these builders and developers. For instance, I've got one client, shout out SWP Custom Homes. They're incredible. He was one of the first ones to really believe in this model, and Wes, the owner there, and he can't sing high enough praises. I mean, he literally says, I tell people all the time, it's one of the best businesses I've made in 25 years of building was partnering with you. Mm-hmm. And the reason is he's got to work with a real estate agent. I mean, they have to. They're doing these developments, they're doing these building homes and stuff. But what we are able to provide is I'm able to provide marketing services like building their logo, building their website, managing their social media as a builder, and then just partnering my marketing company with that, but then at the same time partnering my real estate sales expertise when it comes to doing all their listings for spec houses, for bringing custom clients, all that kind of stuff. So we partner those two together, but we don't charge them for it. That's the key, is we don't charge them for the marketing services I provide. I just want to be the guy that you choose to be your representative.
To do the listings.
Yeah.
Yes. What a great partnership for them and for you. Mm-hmm. It's a win-win.
Yeah, for sure.
So you were talking about going over into East Texas, so I'm assuming you're expanding a little bit because they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's actually a different builder. But yes, yeah, we are. Yes. A guy reached out to me, social media. You will hear me say social media during this thing 50 times because I believe that it is the number one driver of business for me anyway. And so, yeah, he reached out to me. I'd never met this guy, no idea. But he reached out and said, hey, I see what you do online. I'm not exactly sure what it is because it's marketing and real estate and all this stuff. Could you come meet with me? And so we went and met with them, and they've got three developments going on. And again, they just want to have a good start from the beginning. So where we're able to come in and we build the development's logo, the development's website, we manage the social media for the development, and then all of the sales that happen within the development. So
I am so glad, by the way, that you brought up social media.
Yeah.
Because in this whole journey, even for me, in the last 2 years, let's see, it's been like 2.5 years that I have been sitting in front of real estate agents, interviewing people over and over and over and hearing everybody's stories. Something interesting happened.
Yep.
And that was, it would come up in conversation. Julie, they would ask me, what did you do in your past? How in the world did you get to Real Producers? Tell me a little bit about you. And when I tell them, I used to work in the broadcasting industry. I was a television anchor and reporter for almost 15 years. And that before I can get anything else out, they're like, oh my gosh, I could never be on camera. I'm supposed to do video. I know I'm supposed to. My coach tells me I'm supposed to do videos, and I don't do videos because I'm scared to death. Like, I'm so uncomfortable. I freeze like a deer in the headlights. I feel so uncomfortable. I stutter and I stammer is another thing that they say. I don't know what to post. I don't know what to say. And I hate the way that I look on camera. And so I heard this enough times that I was like, see a need, feel a need.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that line in the Robots movie. It was one of my favorite lines. And I thought, I can help these people do this. But also, when I was sitting in front of people that were under 40, and I would ask them, especially when I saw high numbers and they hadn't been in the business more than 5 years, and I saw 25 million, 15 million, 50 million. Somebody I interviewed last year, 50 million by himself, not on a team. How did you do this? I ask them, because these aren't people that probably have large spheres of influence because they're in their 30s, even in their 20s. And they would tell me social media.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, when I interview somebody over 40 and I ask them if they've been in the business less than 5 years or, 7 years, something that's on the newer end, how did you get to the level where you are in the top 500, being that you've only been in the business 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, whatever? Expired, FISBOs, cold calling, door knocking, mailers. I call 100 people a day, all the things, and it's totally different.
It's exhausting. That sounds exhausting
I know,
to me.
right? It does sound exhausting, and it doesn't sound very fun. And I heard Mike Farish say, he's an agent in North Dallas. I heard him say one time, I do social media. I sit at my desk and I post videos and a lot of content, and I sit at home and I'm there for my kids. And I don't have to be door knocking, and I don't have to be doing all these things. And I don't think people understand the power of the free platforms. And they're free. I mean, yes, you can pay for a Meta verified account, but they're free. And it's your billboard. And people tell me all day long, I don't have time for social media.
Right.
You don't have time not to have time. For social media is the way that I look at it. So if you could give a piece of advice for our listeners that are sitting out there hearing this interview today, knowing what you know about social media, what would you give advice to? What would you say to a brand new agent just getting started as it comes to social media? What piece of advice would you give them?
So for me, it would be to do everything that you do. Think about yourself and how you take in content. We all take in content one way or another. The problem is most people, they try to do social media and they say it doesn't work for a couple of reasons. One is going to be because when they do social media, they are doing what the generic population does. Home is where the heart is. Use me as a realtor. I mean, I've seen it a million times, literally on social media. Do you want to know the value of your home? Call me today. It's just very robotic and like not how I want to take in content as a content consumer. And so I try to do it in a way where I don't ever say anything about using me as a realtor. I just put content of houses out there in the ethos or content around what I'm doing. What did I do when we walked in the door? I grabbed my camera, my phone, and I just started videotaping the microphone and the camera and over here, all the setup, because I'm going to make a video of that later. I'm not going to say, look at me, I'm awesome, use me as a realtor because I was on a podcast. I'm just going to say, had a fun day today, just making content. Like it's just, I'm making fun content around what I'm doing because I'm having fun and I'm just showing other people what that is. So for me, it's a lot of posting houses, but not come look at this bespoke living room and like saying it in ways that we don't even talk. Like I try to make it to where it's a conversation piece. Everyone, and when I say everyone, I mean everyone I know is sitting in bed at night looking at Zillow because they're looking at homes and they're like, what could be if I lived in this type of home? So for me, I'm just saying, well, they're either doing that or they're on social media. Can't do much about the Zillow side, but if they're on social media, I can share houses with them and I can, not for the sake of them necessarily buying that house, but for the sake of them seeing this guy's always involved in posting something about houses. He must do a lot of real estate. And that brings me all the way back to my first 3 months of doing real estate. I can't tell you how many people came up to me and were like, man, you're killing it in real estate. I just can't believe you just took off so fast and you're just killing it out there. And I'm like, they don't know that I don't have a single house for sale and I don't have a single client, but I just
see my bank account.
Yeah, right. But I just talked about real estate all the time. And so one of my favorite quotes is, it's Craig Rochelle. He's a pastor of Life Church, one of the biggest churches in America. And he's a great business leader as well, though. And it's successful people do consistently what other people do occasionally.
I love that.
That is like something that has stuck in my head and I can't let go of that idea.
Say that again. That was so good.
Yeah. Successful people do consistently what others do occasionally. So whatever it is, I mean, I know we talked about door knocking and those things at the beginning of kind of like it's not our style, but if you're going to do it, then go do it and do it consistently and don't stop doing it. But what I would do is as you're door knocking, I would video yourself walking down the street saying, getting it done today, hitting some doors, like just utilize what you're doing and record it and then put that into video so that people online can see that you are doing something in real estate. I think that's the thing is that a lot of people, how many realtors are in the world? I mean, there's a ton. There's a ton of us out there for sure. I think in my little town in Granbury, Texas, where I live, I want to say there's around 900 agents, and that's ridiculous for how small of a town we have. Like, it's crazy. But the fact that I can show people that I'm doing it every single day, and other people who may do it more than me. There's still some agents that are a little bit ahead of me, but it's kind of one of those things of like, it's the appearance is looking like I do way more. So the opportunity is for me to get called more because it looks like I'm doing more. And I am doing something in real estate all day. It's not like I'm putting up a front or a fraud or anything like that. It's just the ability to record it. And everyone has that ability. We all have these phones. We all have cameras. We all have the ability to do it. You just got to do it consistently.
Yes, you do. I remember interviewing somebody that had been in the business 30 years, over 30 years. And he was sharing a story with me about social media.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he went on this listing appointment. He lost the listing appointment. He happened to know the person, not deeply, wasn't a friend, but it was a good acquaintance. Let's just put it like that. And so he was one of the agents that was being interviewed to get the listing on this home. So he loses the listing. He calls the client and says, "Hey, I'm learning.
Yep.
I just want to know, what was it that I didn't do right, or what was it that you were looking for? I'm just improving my business. I want to make sure that I show up for my clients and that I'm everything that somebody might need me to be or want me to be. And would you mind just sharing that with me?" No feelings hurt, no nothing. And they said, "Oh, gosh, we love you. It's just that we chose this other lady because she's on social media and she sells millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate." And he was like, "Oh my gosh," like that slap forehead emoji moment. And he said to them, "Shame on me."
Yep.
He said, "Because I've done 4 times the amount of volume that this particular agent has done.
Right.
She just puts it on social media and I don't talk about it."
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
he said that was a moment of truth for me. And this isn't, don't mistake what I'm saying here, with Eric and my own words of just sharing what people have said to me. This isn't get on social media and brag about yourself. It's get on social media and share exactly what you said, Eric. You're just sharing life. But in your mundane, every single day, even if it's changing diapers for some people or whatever, it's the duties and responsibilities that we have to do as people before we start our day at business, or it's what crashes and burns on our business day, or what's great about our business day, so that the two are married to one another, your personal and your professional, and how they blend. And you can share those personal moments too.
Absolutely.
I think they make you relevant and relatable in that case, when you can kind of capture those moments.
Well, here's the thing that I see that is a advantage. So again, my marketing agency, we work in real estate for sure, but we've worked with other businesses for the last 9 years now. And that's anything from a leather company to plumbers to, just anything across the board that you could possibly think of, apparel, anything. And what I see that real estate agents have, if I could I just want to always just grab real estate agents by the jacket, just hold up and just be like, just listen to me and just apply what I'm about to say. We have the ability to market our content better than anyone else does on the planet. And here's why. If I sell microphones, and that is my thing, I have to have this microphone in almost every marketing piece that I'm doing, right? I've got to have the microphone, and there's only certain places, certain things I can do with the microphone to market this microphone if I'm doing videos or anything like that. As real estate agents, we use other people's products. We use houses that we don't own. We use houses that are either our listings, or we can ask other agents, "Hey, would you mind if we go film your listing? Try to help you get the word out there," whatever that might be. But we don't have to have the same product. It's not like I wake up every day and go, "How can I market this product?" Well, there's some cool little lines on it. It's the world is wide open. There was a house listed yesterday in the county that I'm in, and it was an incredible lake home. It's just beautiful. 8 new agents, if I didn't have my own listings, I would be all over that going "Can I please come film this house? Can I come film it, share it on my social media?" You got to get permission from the listing agent. You've got to do, some of these things, but you can go film that and be associated with doing real estate around that item. Sure. And again, you're not trying to say you're the listing agent for that in any kind of way. You got to put that this is somebody else's listing, but you're saying "Hey, I know that this is for sale," and most people don't even know it's for sale because that's just how real estate works, unless they get notified from something like a Zillow or something like that. So the ability to go film unlimited content on unlimited product we have that ability, and I can't think of another industry that has that. And so it's almost like, it's not a shame, but it's almost like a shame, that we don't have more agents filming more content. And I think really it just takes that step of like, this is going to be a terrible first video. And you just got to be okay with that.
Yes.
Just do it again the next day.
That's right.
And by the time you get through with a whole year, you've made 365 videos and you're a lot better than you were day one.
Speaking of this, do you have a favorite platform?
My favorite platform to consume is TikTok. We'll see how much longer that's going to stay around. If it is or not, we'll see. Definitely my favorite to consume. The algorithm is just unbeatable. It's wild actually. But my favorite to post on, and I feel old saying this, but Facebook. And the reason is the way you can post to specific audiences, not just, I mean, if I'm posting on TikTok, it's like, who knows who's going to see that? No idea. It might be somebody in a whole different state and I'm, posting this thing. But if I'm posting on Facebook, one, I've got my followers that I'm posting to. And then two, I make it a habit to share, if I make a post, to make a reel, whatever it might be, I follow all the for sale, buy, sell, trade pages that these community pages, all the different groups that are around an area. And I follow them all. I follow them in East Texas, follow them in the Granbury area where I'm at, Fort Worth, Aledo, all these areas. I'm following all these pages. And if I have a listing in Aledo, Texas, I'm going to post that house in all those groups. Like, hey, this house was just listed, because those are all people that don't know who I am, but they do know they do know Aledo. And so that has grown my audience by doing that, because people see, who's this guy that made this video about Aledo, and so then they'll come and follow me, and then they'll see more stuff, and it's just a snowball effect is what it is. So I like it because I've got my group of people, my friends, they're like, oh, that's an incredible house. Oh, that's a cool one that I know are just going to post because they like cool houses. And then you have a whole other audience there as well. The one I wish I could see faster results in is Instagram. I like Instagram. I just like the platform, the way it's laid out, all the things. But yeah, Facebook's my favorite. It's also my biggest audience. That could play into why it's my favorite. TikTok is my favorite to consume though. So
you like those quick videos? Oh
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I am such a, I don't know, my brain, just the way my brain works. I'm like, let's get on to the next thing,
I know. I was actually speaking yesterday at a networking event as the keynote speaker. And so I've been diving into the video trends because that's my thing, helping video shy entrepreneurs. So I was looking at the video trends that were coming for 2025 and how they've differed a little bit from last year. And now they're saying that short form content has 2 times as much power as the longer form content. We've known for a while that short form content's the way to go.
Right.
But the reason for that is because most people's attention spans are done at 8 seconds. So while we know it's 3 to 5 seconds to grab their attention, now they're like done at 8 seconds. Yep. So you better have something that's really valuable or something that they want to watch or they want to listen to. And even the long form content, you really do have to get right to the point. Get to the things that you want to teach or the things that you want to share or whatever, because they're going to be gone. So actually my favorite platform to consume content is Facebook.
Okay.
Excuse me, not Facebook. YouTube.
Got it. Yep.
My favorite place to post is Facebook. And I'm with you in that I think most of my audience is there versus Instagram, because when I put things on Instagram, because I don't have a huge following, I have some, but not as much as Facebook, then you only get like 15 reactions or something like that. And you think, well, I just put that on there and like nobody wants to watch it. But I think a lot of people do see it. They just don't necessarily hit the button. They just go on to the next thing and the next reel and the next reel. But Facebook, you get the engagement where you've got all the comments below and people actually, you can create a whole ruckus just by saying, what's your favorite water?
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Then you're going to have 106 comments,
Yeah,
so,
true.
Right. I should do that.
You should do that today. I'm excited.
But or where's your favorite pizza or whatever. You'll get a lot of engagement that way. Instagram, you'll get a heart, and maybe 10 of them.
Right.
But I love YouTube. And I love YouTube because I do like to consume longer content, but I do it while I'm multitasking.
Right.
I don't ever sit there and watch a YouTube video unless I'm sitting on the couch at night and we're looking for stuff to watch and nothing is on TV that we want to see. So we'll just go and look at our favorite things that we like to follow on YouTube and watch some of those. But I agree. It's important today. It's relevant. It's needed. And we have a changing landscape. We have a new way of doing business that we didn't quite have 15 years ago or 20 years ago when things were different. And there were yellow pages and there were more billboards and there's still a lot of billboards, but there were other ways to advertise. Now you've got 4 free platforms between the major ones, meaning TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And I've seen a lot of realtors have fantastic success on YouTube. And all of their leads coming from YouTube and doing millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate on YouTube. So there is a place for that, but you have to, people ask me all the time, where should I post? And I tell them, pick one. Just pick one platform and go for it and really understand the culture of that platform, because the people that are hanging out on TikTok are not going to be the same people hanging out necessarily on Facebook. So find one, find your tribe, find your people, and then just post there.
Yeah, and there are things you've got to do to keep that audience, like you said. Like my goal now, again, I look at data and analytics and all that kind of stuff because of our marketing crew and all that stuff, but like you said, I'm seeing anywhere between that 7 and 8 second mark is what the attention span. You got 2 seconds to catch them, 7 to 8 seconds to keep them. But if you can get 16 seconds, you're double what the thing is, like, you're doing incredible. If people watch 16 seconds of your video, that's wild. So some of the things that you do have to look at is, okay, really thinking through, I am going to film a video. I am going to get started. And that's the most important thing. You got to get started. And then when you do, don't get so discouraged so fast. It's because what we do is we look at these things and we're like, oh, only my average views is 10 seconds of video. Well, you're doing pretty good. Or if someone gets, I mean, this is my favorite. I love
that statistic.
Yeah, for sure. My favorite is to do this is because I can't tell you how many people will go like, I mean, I'll get like 200 views on a video. If you're watching this and you're in your living room, we're in this room right here. This is a pretty sizable room. Put 200 people in this room. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
200 people is a lot of people.
Yes.
We just have this thing in our brain of like, oh, it didn't get 1,500, 2,000, 5,000, a million views, so it wasn't successful. But if we're looking at a room like this is pretty great. Let's have 200 people watch your video.
That's such a great point of view.
Yeah.
Because yes, I love that. Put 200 people in a room, 400 people in a room. And then when you think about those videos that go viral,
then it's just like, it's
just
unbelievable.
Like, that's mind-blowing. Yeah. Go and do public speaking on a stage in front of 200
people.
And you know what? People would rather die and go in their grave than get on a stage and talk to 200 people with a microphone.
Absolutely.
Me, I'd sign myself up for that.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely. So I stopped caring about
how many views?
I don't want to say I stopped caring. I stopped
Focusing.
The likes have a less impact on me than they used to, because I used to think, how many, I got whatever. You had 30 likes on something. It's like, well, that didn't go too well. But I would start hearing, because I interact with these people on Facebook, for instance, I interact with these people in person too, the ones on Facebook mostly. And so I'd get this like, oh, dude, I got this yesterday. I saw that house you listed the other day. And I'm like, oh, really? He's like, dude, it's like my favorite house I've ever seen. And so just for my own sake, I'm like, I'm going to see if they did anything. Went back, looked at who liked that thing. That person wasn't a like anywhere on that post.
Wow.
But they're like, that's my favorite house I've ever seen you list. Like, they're going on and on and on. And it's like, they're just not people who click the like button. That's just who they are.
That's what I think happens on Instagram.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Like, you'll get the 15 little hearts, but really, but if you look at the views, some of mine have 400, 600 views and 15 little hearts.
Yeah, and you're like all discouraged. Like, oh,
right? I'm like, well, that must have been a stinky video. I'm thinking.
Right. But when you're in a sales environment like a Facebook and you're trying to reach a local audience, I don't look at those numbers. I'm looking at how is it affecting the bottom line of what I'm trying to do, which includes sales. How is that including my, I've got a message today. I was sitting in the lobby on my computer waiting to get here to start this, and I get a text message from a friend of mine, and he says, hey, I think we're ready to sell our house. 2 things. 1, do I need to get an appraiser, or do you come up with those numbers? 2, are you going to record one of those really cool videos you do? And that's the reason he's calling me, is because he sees the videos on social media. That's
Isn't
it.
that great?
Yeah.
I love that.
He could have called a million realtors.
See?
Yep.
That's a walking, talking billboard for
That's
your
right.
business right there. And I want to see entrepreneurs do great things. In my talk yesterday, I was saying, hey, I'm just going to let's do this game. I'm going to do this game with you.
Oh, I'm ready.
I threw out 21 unforgettable advertising slogans. And so I'm going to think of some that I put on my slide, and I'm going to drill you. Okay.
I might be bad at this.
Now, okay.
Let's
This
see.
first one is really easy.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the slogan.
Okay.
The advertising campaign slogan.
I say
you
the
tell
brand.
me the brand.
Okay.
Just do it.
Nike. I knew that was going to be the first one you're going to say.
I shouldn't have done that one first. All right, so let's do this one. I'm loving it.
McDonald's.
The quicker picker-upper.
Stanley Steamer? No.
No?
I have yep.
It's coming.
Uh-huh.
It's coming. All the audience knows what it is.
They do. They're all just like, you're an idiot.
It's Bounty.
Bounty. That's
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Yeah, golly.
I know, you missed that one. That's all right.
I am under pressure here. I'm getting red and sweating.
Are you?
Bring it on.
All right, now I have to think about a couple of others. I can remember the company. I have to remember how it goes. Because you're worth it.
I do not
Am
know.
I stumping you?
You are stumping me.
L'Oreal.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Have it your way.
Burger King?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, ding, ding, ding.
Uh-huh,
ding. You
yeah,
this
got one.
You got one.
I don't know what this means, but I keep getting the food ones right.
Have it your way. Now everybody's going to be singing the jingle that happened yesterday. Better pizza, more ingredients.
Papa John's.
Yes. That was another food one. All right, now let me go outside the box. Let me not think about the food ones.
I got to get this right.
I'm not going to give you this first word because you'll get it.
Okay.
Something has wings.
Red Bull.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that wasn't food, it was drink. But,
Food beverage.
Let's see if I can think of another one. Oh, yes. Like a good neighbor.
State Farm is.
I was really going to come across this table
Yeah,
if you did not get that one.
That would have been bad for sure. Yeah.
So you get my point. Like when you see so many of these ads and advertising in the campaigns, these slogans, these taglines, they stick. And that is one of the things that I talk to people about in their video marketing campaigns is you as an agent need to come up with something that's sticky. I was but talking to a lady yesterday. We're actually going to put her on the front cover of one of the upcoming issues. And she handed me her business card. This was a year ago. And for a while, I couldn't even remember the lady's name of who the business card went to.
Okay.
But her now I know. But her tagline was closing deals and heels. And she had a red high heel on her card. And it's unforgettable.
It is. Yep. That's
Closing
awesome.
deals and heels. So now you can remember that slogan so easily, and you remember, oh, that's so-and-so agent. And so to put little sticky taglines too in your assuming, I know you just are doing houses most of the time instead of talking heads, but if you can come up with something that helps people remember who you are, it just helps add to your whole branding and raising brand awareness. So
Absolutely.
Before we close out today, is there anything that you're doing personally right now that you're really excited about?
Personally, like outside of real estate.
This is your Oprah question.
Oh man. So I'm always doing something new. Here's the problem is I can tell you something that I'm doing personally that's super fun, but it could be within 2 months that I'm on to something different. So right now, though, in this very moment that we sit, I just bought what I like to refer to as a ranch, although selling a lot of farm and ranch, which I do, I get made fun of because I don't have a ranch. I have 24 acres, but to me, it's a ranch. So
your truck fits right in.
That's right. Yes. Well, I had to get the truck for the ranch. See, you see the tie-in here. And so I have this thing I'm doing. I'm calling it cowboy stuff. And so it's like it's about a city boy. I literally made a brand and everything. I have a marketing agency. Why not? I made a brand called Cowboy Stuff. And so I've got it's basically a city boy learning to do cowboy stuff. Like I said, I grew up in apartments. I didn't know how to do anything. And so I definitely don't know how to do anything with 24 acres. So I got a tractor.
Oh my.
I tried to grease it. Apparently you're supposed to do that. And grease exploded everywhere. It was incredible.
It didn't go well.
Got it on video, the whole thing. But I've learned how to drive a tractor now. And so clearing out all the land, all the things. We're doing a lot of fishing, got side by side. We're having fun. It's just a little family, little place and
Cowboy stuff.
Cowboy stuff, yeah.
What does the logo look like?
It's got a cowboy hat, and the cowboy hat is kind of like makes a C and an S for cowboy stuff, and it's pretty cool.
Very cute.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
I'm so glad that you joined us today.
Well, thanks. It's fun being here.
It was fun to be here. It was fun to interview you and hear all about the social media stuff. And I know it's a hot topic, and a lot of people know they're supposed to be there, but again, terrified. Don't do it. Never touch it unless you're under 40.
Yep.
I think this is what I know.
Yep.
Some people over 40 are doing amazing with the
Right.
social media. Other people, not so much.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are signing off today. So it was so great to interview Eric and to have him with us today. So until next time, everybody, live from Studio USA, I'm Julie